Primary 7. Now, yesterday I set you an inequalities worksheet that a lot of you have had a really good go at. So first up, I just wanted to say well done. You did a great job trying out those activities, and a lot of you have actually done a great and accurate set of answers. So I think a combination of being at home and me not giving you the answer sheet, which I wish I had done at the beginning of the day, has meant that you've questioned your own abilities. And that's just not fair, Primary 7. So I'm sorry that for whatever reason, I didn't quite share the right resources with you yesterday. Today, I'm going to just explain a few of the questions that some of you were finding challenging yesterday. And then I've set you one of 3 choices of tasks. And that is entirely up to you what you want to work on today. Okay, today will be the last day that we work on algebra and inequalities. So I thought I'd give you a selection of things to do, and this will give you hopefully the right level at which you want to work at today. So the 3 choices, and I'll repeat them at the end, the 3 choices will be to continue with the activity that I set you yesterday, so to complete those questions from 11 to 20. The second choice of activity, and remember you don't have to do all 3, the second choice is that you can be doing an alternative task. So I've set a slightly less challenging task and it's on a worksheet, and you're just going to work through those questions in your own time. And the third choice of task is to go back over the work you did yesterday, looking at the answers and looking at the answers that you had and working on any corrections. I don't want you to do all 3. I want you to choose one of those 3 tasks. Okay? So just looking at yesterday's questions, now we had a couple of queries about a couple of questions. So this was one of them. This was question 4 on the worksheet. And we had 3x minus 8. Sorry, I'm finding it hard to read backwards. 3x minus 8 is larger or greater than 60. Now remember we worked on this last week where we have to do the same from one side of the algebraic expression to the other side of the algebraic expression. So anything we do this side, we have to balance it out that side, okay? So for example, in order to get what the value of x is, we're going to have to get rid of that 8, okay? So in order to do that, it's a negative 8. We're going to add 8. We're going to add 8 on, which leaves us with 3x is greater than 24. Okay, so we've added on, we've added on 8 to each side. Remember, to both sides, because it's a negative 8, we have to add it on, and both sides mean that we've got 3x is greater than 24, and then we're just going to divide those by 3, because we want to be left with 1x. So we're going to have just x, so we're dividing by 3 this side, which leaves us with x is greater than 24 this side, divided by 3 is 8. Okay, so the answer for that question is x is greater than 8. Okay, moving on. We have, so similarly, we have on question 5a, we have 2x take away 1 is smaller than 9. So we're going to try and erase that 1 so that we're left with the x. Okay, we're always going to take away the smaller number. So we have 2x minus 1, well, we have to add 1 in order to erase that out. So we're adding 1 on one side, which means we have to add 1 on the other side. So that will leave us with 2x is smaller than 10. 2x is smaller than 10. And now we just divide by 2 in order to get that 1x on one side. So we're going to divide by 2, and we have x is smaller than 5, because we're dividing by 2 each side, remember. Okay, so we've got x is smaller than 5. Remember, the inequality sign is just there instead of an equals. In a way, it could just be an equals. It's the same as we were doing last week with algebra, but instead of having an equal sign when we're doing these problems, you're thinking about having the same sign. So we're scrolling it down, as it were, in the beginning of that question. Okay, right, moving on. We had another 2 questions that I'm going to talk through. Okay, So this was B to question 5, and it says, write down the inequality shown on the number line. Okay, now I've given you this answer just now. Okay, so what it's asking you is for the range of numbers in between those 2 points. Okay, so we've got -2 is the lowest amount, and x is equal to greater than that amount, equal to or greater than that value. Okay, so we're thinking about the -2 is actually the smallest point, and above that is x and the value of it. Okay, thinking about C, right, all the integers. Now, we had a lot of messages about integers, and I did explain it on my little verbal instructions. I knew you wouldn't. I knew that you would understand this very simply. It's the range of numbers in between these numbers. So, for example, write all the integers that satisfy both inequalities shown in parts A and B. Now, part A's answer was x is smaller than 5, and part B's answer was x is greater than or equal to -2. So, thinking about those two ranges, we now have the answers in between those two sets of numbers. Okay, so in between 5 and -2 are the numbers of -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's all that question was asking, primary 7. Okay. Now, there are lots of different questions as you move on, but I hope that that little bit of tuition with those answers will help you to think logically about the other questions that you come across. So again, it's up to you what you want to do today, primary 7. You can choose to work through the original worksheet, completing that if you feel confident, or you just want to have the challenge today. On you go. I've given you the answer sheet so you can work backwards from the answers to the questions if you're finding them tricky. Second choice is I've given you an alternative worksheet, and that is slightly less challenging, still working on inequalities and still algebraic expressions. Third choice is to work through some of the corrections that you did yesterday and try and problem solve where you went wrong and the language of the questions. Okay, I only want you to complete one activity, so on you go and do it. Primary 7, if you have any questions, I will do my best to message you. I'm finding it really hard to manage everybody's messages, planning and marking for everybody during the day. So if I don't get back to you straight away, my advice is to use your own knowledge, either move on with a question and I will get back to you later on in the day, find an adult, or do an alternative activity. I think algebra is something we're going to be coming back to in the classroom because I feel as though it would be a great way to just feel that we've closed this chapter of maths. All right. Now, primary 7, you have a great day, and I will look forward to hearing and marking your work later, and hopefully you will have a less challenging day today. Good luck.